So hello, Sabrina, Sal, and Franziska Trapp.
Hello, Shroud.
How are you both today?
Good.
Good. Yeah,
So
the
pleased to
weather is awful, but it's okay.
I know, but we'll make it joyful in here is what we're going to do. And that's what we're going to do. So I am so thrilled that you're joining us in this episode 2, looking at research and creation and research. And the two of you have already been presented on the website with all these nice and fancy words about the work that you do and the art that you've created and the research that you've presented. I now have a question for both of you to tell our viewers and our listeners. What do we really need to know about you? What is that thing that we really need to know about you? And I think I want to start with Sabrina.
Okay. I have always been a weird person. So animals were the only one not judging me. So I've discovered that you have a world just next to the world in which you can be as weird as you want, and it's with animals. And that's the things you have to know about me is that I feel more confident with animals most of the time than with human.
Well, I don't know if you see the emotions that are already starting. Look at what you've just now done, Sabrina. Wow. Thank you so much. Franzi, what is the world need to know about you?
I guess I'm the complete opposite. I love human beings. And I love to be with humans. So yeah, maybe that's something you need to know about me, that I love being with people and being in exchange with people. And I'm extremely curious. So I love digging into new topics, reading, but also experiencing new things. So I guess that's what you need to know about me.
I found this extremely moving at the beginning, and we've just started. We've just started. So we're here in the context of a project that the two of you have done together, the creation of this exhibition that I know with the title "The Non-Human Animal Artist," toward the presentation of an artistic species companionship. Before we get to talk about that massively amazing project that I have so enjoyed digging into in preparation for this, I want to go back to Sabrina to ask if you could pull us up to speed on maybe one of your creative projects you've done so that we get to know a bit more about you as an artistic creator before we move into the current project.
Actually, my obsession is to work with the others when they are different. It's part of the reason I've talked about at the beginning. So I've created a show called Dresse-toi. It's quite difficult to translate because Dresse-toi is also train yourself, also um, stand up. It's quite difficult to translate. But the idea is to compare the what as a woman you have to be trained to, and as a horse you have to be trained to. And I've uh, I've write that show in 2017, and it was quite of a feministic show, but also an animalistic show because the idea is to give the voice to the one who has not that more uh, that much the voice in the society. So voilà.
Wow. Yeah. Thank you for talking about that project. That was one of the projects that you shared with me in advance. You fair viewers who are watching and hearing about this, it's strong. I'm going to give a shout out to that. If anybody can have access to that, I'm going to say the Restaurant is really amazing and provocative and powerful. Hansi, you also have a past. You you have this amazing history as a researcher and a publisher. Can you choose that one thing that you want to tell us about as well to pull us up to speed as to who you are as that person?
Yeah, well, you want me to talk also about my books or my
Maybe,
work or yeah.
maybe.
Maybe I brought one because I just have to let you know, like the audience, that I had to choose one, and I'm choosing the one that's like kind of the basic of my work as a researcher and as a dramaturg, and also the basic maybe for our collaboration. So my first book is called Readings of Contemporary Circus Dramaturgy. Will be published in English in summer with Routledge. So far, you can only read it in English. But maybe to explain what I have been doing there and in what way that links to our project. Well, I was like really interested in experience and analyzing how contemporary circus performances create meaning. So I developed a model to analyze those performances and asking, okay, what do they actually do in order, for example, be political, critical, or in order to entertain? What's the relation between spectacularity and narrativity and narration? What happens when we, for example, transfer a book or a film into a contemporary circus piece? And then the very last question, what and how can we use all this knowledge in order to work creatively or as a tool for dramaturgy? And that's kind of the book on which, on the one hand, my academic work is based, and on the other hand, my work as a dramaturg.
So my ears are already telling me that we can leap into that very next question, because both of you have now launched us into this very thoughtful signaling that both of you, that's the international word for signaling, viewers out there, that you have given a massive thought to what it is that you do when you create and what it is that you do when you do research. So, what is it? Do you have a definition for creation? And maybe I want to launch this as a dialogue between the two of you. I think I want to launch it first to Sabrina, but what is this thing called creation, Sabrina?
Now I'm a person of 45 years and I have no children. So for me, creation is maybe the way to add something to the world. So add a voice, add an idea, add something that is really part of you and who will maybe change and become friend with other person. An idea became sometimes a friend or something you can put yourself on. So for me, creation is something you add to the world, something good or not, maybe, but most of the time.
And I agree.
Cheater.
Anything else you want to add to that word besides the agree, this thing of creation, Franzi, in your universe?
Yeah, well, maybe I would like to add something, because you have to know, I also already know the second question, and if you allow, so what is research? And maybe in order to relate it also to academia, because I would say, or for me personally, it's not that different, because I think research also adds something to the world, brings something, shows something with the world. And I would say research is as, if you also use the creative part of the word creation, is as creative as creation, or what we have in mind for creation. When we are writing books as researchers, we have to be creative, but also in the way we exchange with the people we are writing about or writing with. So I guess, and it's not that different. And also creation, I would say you never bring something to the world without having a context or without having done research on what you're doing. And yes, so I would say, and then to go back to the poetic definition of Sabrina, yes, it's bringing, both is bringing something to the world and maybe also contributing something to society, especially.
Sabrina, can you pick up on that? Because it's true, Francie, jumped the trigger here and said, yeah, we are talking about creation research. So yes, we are. Sabrina, what do you think about this thing called research?
Actually, in my life, I've started as a researcher. Also, I've made psychology studies, and um, that part is not that far from my creation, my creative word. Um, to write my pieces, I read a lot, and I read scientist also. The next show is about Donna Haraway. Donna Haraway. I always say it in French. It's so weird. I've met her in this summer, and she's so great. She's really an amazing person, and really her universe has really contribute to create one part of mine. And yeah, it's that way the research and art are just weaving,
Or
Intro.
interweave. Yeah.
Yeah.
intertwine.
Oh, see, there we go. I love being able to create new words and worlds as we do this, even here. I love it. And something tells me that Donna Awe would be very happy to know her name is being pronounced in many languages. I think this something tells me. Um, so then let's dig. Now that you've given us these really poetic images about what it is that we're calling creation research and how actually the two things are indeed interwoven and we really can't separate them from the very beginning. This project, uh, it has a name, it has a form, but I want to hear from you if you can. What is this project for people who aren't as familiar as I have been as I've started to dig into it? What is it? What have you done?
Your turn,
Okay,
Franziska.
I start. Maybe to give you like the framework, the institutional framework. Like we had the big chance to get funded by a project called Art et Sciences. It's a project by the French Ministry of Culture, and the basic aim of this project in general is to bring together artists and researchers in order to work on a specific research question. And that's actually what we did. And our, I would say, overall global question was kind of what can it mean to create new modes of performances that deal with non-human animal performance? How can we decenter the non-human being on stage in this context? Yeah, and with regard to circus, also, especially from my point of view, what can we do in order to present new modes of animal performances in circus that are not presenting dominance, human dominance? So that was kind of the aim of the project. And then maybe on a meta level, the idea was also to just ask what can we learn from each other? Because as you notice, we're coming from quite different backgrounds. I've never ever worked with animals. I'm living in Brussels in the city center. I'm nearly rarely around animals, so and I'm a people
Don't
lover.
even have a cat.
I don't even have a cat, which does not mean that I don't love them. That's maybe important. I love animals, but it's just a part of my life. So just to let you know, this kind of context. And at the same time, like the project is linked to what I'm doing because currently my postdoc project is asking the question of how are human and non-human relationship presented in circus. And it's dealing with objects and apparatuses, and in this context, also with animals. And then maybe Sabrina would like to add something.
Yeah, like the rest, what was inside that research is also really a discover of each other. I've meet Franziska and meet the person, the researcher, and I was so happy to bring her in my universe. So I'm living in a place really quite wide. Yeah, it's 40 acres of of land, and the horses are living there almost freely. And we are trying to find a way to communicate and to work together. But we use the word working, but for them it's not working, it's communicating. And the next show is in theater, so inside. And all the purpose is also to make that place comfortable for them and to be able to let them be normal horses, but in an abnormal situation. And yeah, all the research was about what are we talking about when we bring an animal on stage. We a lot of image, a lot of idea are just behind that only moment. And it was interesting also for me to rediscover what I'm doing through the eyes of Franziska, because when you are doing something with the time, you forget how it counts. And through her, I've seen myself and the horses and the universe differently.
So maybe to explain, like in a really concrete level, like we have been, or I had the possibility to go there 3 or even 4 times. So at the very beginning in winter, we still had like snow covering the tent and the horses or the grass, and then also in summer. So in total, I think it was 3 to 4 weeks. And during this time, we had the possibility to collaborate and to work and to discover each other's universe. So I, for example, had the possibility to work with the horses, just watch what Sabrina was doing. We did some writing together. We even used like really maybe crazy approaches in order to like this question of, okay, how can we change our perspective also? How can we kind of, again, back to the curiosity, how can we leave our specific perspective, our human perspective on animals? Because that's also really interesting. Sabrina, of course, has a really close relation to her horses. And then the idea was also to try to maybe out other approaches, or yeah, so and maybe just one last thing you need to know, the great thing about this whole project, the Arrêt, is that it's relatively open. So we were not forced to create a specific outcome, but we had like really the possibility to do research without a really concrete aim, which I think is really important in the context of research creation. So we weren't allowed to create a performance together, and we weren't allowed to create a very specific artistic piece. So we had to find other ways of working and later on publishing.
So then maybe I can do a follow-up with that, is that it sounds to me like there were some really gloriously positive moments. Can you tell us about that as you're discovering each other's universes? Because I'm hearing that there's a plural notion to the universes. So tell me about something that was like hugely positive.
I was so happy to see Franziska trying to taste her horse because it was it was in a I don't remember, it was kind of a questionnaire in which you have a link with an object, and the idea is it's more for the jungler. So let's taste your bowl, or I don't know. She was just licking the horse. I was like, that's really weird. Maybe
Yeah,
I've
but
done
maybe
that on my watch stream, but
to contextualize for the audience again, because yes, that was really weird, I think. Yes, but again, the idea was also to change a little bit this perspective, also this kind of relationship perspective that Sabrina has. So we kind of, no worries, the horse is okay.
yeah,
I tried to taste
it was consented. It was consented. They were just like, okay, she's really weird. Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, I remember the moment. For me, the most amazing moment was rather to like really start creating a relationship.
Ah.
So maybe the more common approach, I would say. Yeah.
Extraordinary. Um, so I just bet you over the course of this time together, there might have been some moments of challenge and difficulty. Do you want to maybe talk about what maybe one of those moments might have been as well? One of the reasons I'm asking this is that there are people watching this who are interested in doing research creation. And you know, we all struggle, we all stumble into some difficulty. And so I'm just interested in and maybe what that moment might be, and then maybe how you resolved it, if it ended up being resolved.
Actually, it was quite fluid because we weren't under pressure to have something really I don't know. It was not that difficult, I think. Maybe it was difficult to enter the part we are finishing that, and we haven't finished. The idea we would love to continue to work together on other ideas. It was maybe putting an end at that was difficult, but otherwise, no, I don't remember really trouble or really.
But
Being.
also, I guess because we both, as the idea was also to change the perspective and to like being able to dig into the world of the other, was to like, that's, I think, why it worked, because we said, okay, because I can talk for me, for example, sometimes as a researcher is used to have like a clear outcome, a really specific aim at the very end. No. Really specific also way of working or how we have to work. It was sometimes challenging insight of me. And I sort of like, okay, let go. Okay, let it flow, as Sabrina is saying. So, and I guess that's like also the most beautiful outcome, I would say, that it kind of, yeah, we both changed perspective. Also the fact that I was allowed to taste.
I don't know if in English you are talking about Kairos. Kairos is a kind of little angel in the Hellenistic mythology, with only one mesh, one part of
And
the
the
head
hair.
with
Yeah,
hair,
yeah.
and you have to catch it because it's the symbol of the moment. And when you are working with animals, you need to be in the kairos. It's really difficult to make plan to say at that moment I will do that, because you have to be with the flow of life. Otherwise, you have to be in conflict, and it doesn't work. So maybe I'm a person who is a little bit not that much organized, but it's because also it's my way of living. I'm living with the moment. So yeah, I guess it can be challenging when you want to organize.
Oh, wow. So what I am hearing as well, a couple of things that I'm processing on maybe here is that a lot of your work began with questions. What if, what can, what's possible, and an openness, and that may have guided some of your work together. But then along the way, you ended up sort of blending your voices and strategies. And am I hearing that right? The sort of blend, something sort of alchemistic happened.
Yeah, completely.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
not only the two of us, also the 12 horses. I think we shouldn't forget them as active participants in this whole project.
And
Yeah.
even Nathan, who has made the videos, yeah, we are all exchanging and also finding something really peculiar, really tiny, because we were just aware one to the others.
Thank you for mentioning Nathan. If I could we, yeah, because in your exhibition that is being crafted and created. And it may sound like there's never an end to it, but at one point it will be out into the universe. And you have a visual artist as a part of your team. Could you speak to their work?
Yeah, Nathan is a video creator and is also making games, but he's working on a computer most of the time, and we have asked him to take the image of what we were doing using his own way of looking at the things. And it was quite interesting because he has completely changed the shape of what was happening. And yeah, it was a good idea. The three universe has mixed at one point, and it was great because I'm thinking a lot with sound and voices and words, and he's thinking with images. It's really interesting.
And
Yet
yeah,
another blending of a voice is what I'm hearing. Am I hearing that, Francie? Yeah.
and he has been there throughout the whole process. Maybe that's also important because he was part of La Monette, so the can I say residency space or creative space or where whatever. Yeah. So he has been there the whole time and he was following what we're doing. Also sometimes kind of thinking, what exactly are you doing? Why are you doing so? Adding exactly another voice and then like contributing with his more visual um perspective. So again, another perspective. But again, like this diversity of perspective and creating this dialogue between, one could say, academia or research and art reflection, but then also like naive approaches or approaches that are informed was kind of the aim of the whole project.
So now I might want to move into some practical things for some other people who are going to be following you and saying, this sounds amazing. I want to explore this. Um, you got a grant. You took this next step. How did that work? How can you encourage other people to then follow yourself, to give yourself some of the freedom to explore these questions? I'm totally interested in that and what your advice might be for other people who are interested.
The idea is maybe to open that moment of research, I think. Because the idea is that the exhibition at one moment will be available on catalog research catalog, research catalog. I never know in which but what is interesting is to think about being together, being different, and maybe adding some more energy and different meaning and different way of thinking. So yeah, I don't know. I would love to invite other people and re-invite Franziska to be in our place or in our show because I have a show. We will be in the theater. No, not in the theater. Yes, in the theater. No,
Yeah.
theater is cinema.
Oh,
No, theater.
that's
In the
okay.
theaters since no, à partir. Oof, my English is disappearing. I don't know. It's starting in November, and it's talking about a black woman, about racism, sexism, validism, everything. It's about the oh, it's done. You you are not moving anymore.
Uh,
Oh
uh,
yeah, you are moving again.
and now we're back. And now we're back. Viewers, there was a technical moment just now. So, but we have Sabrina back with us.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
So
the show is talking about a black woman who decided to become an animal, and the idea is to exchange point of view. No, it's again
uh,
freezing. No?
but you're back. You're back at this moment. Yeah, you're back. These things happen. I think we all know that these things happen. But yes, you were saying that that the show is about a black woman who decides to become an animal, and you're developing this with your company.
Yeah, and it's also the idea to have exchange about that topic. So what is about to be under pressure in the society, to be not listened to, and really, I would like to have a discussion, conversation about what we can do with the others in respect of their difference, because I think it can be really interesting. But voilà, I would love to start a research about working together, really working together from our point of view.
Wow, I'm hearing a massive invitation. Franzi,
Yeah.
what would you like to say about other people who are following you in this process? How do they get a grant? How can they make this happen?
How to get a grant? I think you just have to try and apply, and maybe also maybe to because now we have been focusing also on the liberty that we have. Nevertheless, at the end, of course, there is a publication. So the exposition we are that is currently under peer review. So maybe to give some more also information with regard to artistic research, at least in Europe, it's nevertheless not doing research, exchanging, and then that's it. Now, of course, there's also a way of publishing, and we decided to go for the research catalog, and we applied for the Journal of Artistic Research, and got selected for the whole process. So the exposition will be published hopefully after the peer review is finished in this journal, and that as well. I mean, we just did it. So it's kind of, I would say, I can't give a specific advice, rather to do it if you want to do it, and do it the way you think that's most interesting also for yourself. Because maybe to explain something about the outcome and this exposition. So we are not like it's not presenting okay, those are our findings. So that was not the aim. The aim was also not to say, okay, those are the dramaturgic strategies Sabrina is going to use in the next show in order to decenter the human being, or in order to show her relation to the horses, or human relation to non-humans, or whatever. Our aim was rather that the viewer of this exposition has the possibility to feel and experience our experience. So that's why in this exposition you can see how artistic academic research, how like creation and research are intertwined. So there is an academic text, one could say, article from my perspective that is based on Sabrina's work, based on Restoir, based on the reflections we had. And then there's always Sabrina in between, with like poems commenting on what I am saying about her work. And then we have like the perspective of Nathan, so the visual artist perspective, showing like actually what he did was filming us doing our work, and then like transforming those films into visual art, I would say. And that's kind of the idea. And then again, the article responds to the visual art of Nathan, and then again we have, and you can also like find your way through the whole exhibition. So the idea is not to experience it in a linear way, but rather to find your way through it, also to get aware of your own perception and perspective. And again, then we're back to our first research question. Okay, what can we learn from each other? We among human, or with regard to non-human animals, or the horses in specific. Yes. So maybe again, the question was, what can we do if we would like to do research creation? I think just do it and apply for those fundings that are available. Apply for the possibilities you have in order to publish. And yeah, see if it's working out.
Even
Because
for
also what I'm
the
hearing,
experiment, it's so great. Just
brilliant,
trying to do something together. It's nice.
glorious. Thank you for that. Yeah, because what I'm hearing is that in the pursuit of something specific, you ended up with something really open and really generous in your presentation, and then allowing others then to enter into your universes. Which leads me to a last question. Both of you have been working on, I think, making this world a better place. I think. Do you have a recommendation either for yourselves or for other people who are listening or watching us, how it is that we can help make this circus universe, the one filled with creation and research, truly a better place? What is it that we can all do with and for each other?
My idea of the circus is that it's a place where people are suffering a lot because you have to train, and the body is in the first place. You are hurting yourself and repeating, just to create something new in the world. And I'm quite fascinated by this strength people have.
Wow.
And I think it's a good image. It's something, things are difficult, but at the end, something beautiful is just blowing through that. And I would like to say that suffering is part of being alive. And at the end, you can push on it and be someone different and unique. So voilà. And also that the idea to repeat something a lot is a way to find it all the time a little bit different. So maybe it's true that you can, even when you see all the time the same person, maybe at the end this person is different.
Wow. I think Sabrina gave us some really beautiful words, Francie.
I think rather again focus on the aspect of circus as a really collaborative art form, because I think on the one hand, circus is not at all collaborative, because I mean there is a focus on the individual, on skills, on like being the one. Sometimes it's really lonely training alone. Also in research, maybe there's also a quite nice parallel between research and circus arts. And at the same time, it's very collaborative and maybe also diverse. Also there again, it's problematic because I think we have to be careful not to always romanticize the circus. So in all kind of perspectives, I think that circus has a huge potential with regard to the aspect of diversity and with regard to the aspect of collaboration. And I think that's important to keep it open, that everything is possible. A lot of different perspectives are possible, different aesthetics, different approaches to the world. And I think it's just important to keep this diversity and exchange and collaboration, not only within circus, not only among researchers and artists, but just in general, I would say.
Wow. On those words, let me thank you both. Thank you for spending time with me today. Thank you for offering your generosity of spirit of creation and research with the rest of the universe. I think it's a lovely gift you've given. So thank you again. Thank you again.
Thank you for the invitation. Thank you so much.
Yeah.